The Johnsky is a YouTube channel run by and run for people over the age of 13. People under the age of 13 should click off of this video right now, or watch with a parent or guardian. Viewer discretion is advised.
You don't scare me!
Milt is freaking today, militiamen. My name is King Prime, and welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at another brand new Star Wars The Vintage Collection action figure, that being the brand new Star Wars The Vintage Collection Andor, Cassian Andor. So here is the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure itself, let's take a look at what he comes in. Here at the top, of course, we have the nice Andor trades done up in that crimson red we're so used to. Nice picture of Cassian on the front there with the counter trades down at the bottom. We have an orange pill and an orange backing for the nameplate Cassian Andor, of course. On the back, we have the other figures in the line. Vader, who I've reviewed. Obi-Wan, who I've reviewed. Clatoonian Raider, who I've not reviewed and will not be getting. Luke, who I've already reviewed. Vel, who was the previous Vintage Collection review. The Artillery Stormtrooper, who I've already reviewed. Cassian, who obviously, and Cal, who I've already reviewed. Down at the bottom, we have more legal jargon, and that is about it. Of course, I said in every single review, my friends, you only really care about the packaging if you are a carded collector, of which I am not. I'm here to open toys and review them, and that is just what I'm going to do. Freeze frame.
I'm rich! I'm dead!
Freeze frame unfreeze. There's Cassian. But before we take a look at him, and I do have plenty to say about him, let's take a look at his weapon, which is, of course, that little holdout blaster that he uses to murk those corpos in the very beginning of the show. This is, I think we see this again in Rogue One, if my memory serves me correctly. I do actually have the original Vintage Collection Andor figure, but I do not have the means to pull it out right now. This is just, going to suffice, but I'm pretty sure we saw this in Rogue One. Of course, Cassian can hold it in his hand, and it does not have a trigger housing or a trigger guard, so you just hold it like this. And that's it. He can't store it anywhere because unfortunately with this figure, he does not have any holsters even on the inside of his coat or tunic or anything like that. He has nothing to store it. These are just relief cuts so that you can move his legs. So Cassian can only hold his weapon. He cannot store it anywhere, which sucks. But on to Cassian himself. This does actually look a lot like Cassian. The Diego Luna portrait here is very nice, if not a little bit janky. Let me get more of the light here. If not a little bit janky, but I think it does a great job, even with the bags around his eyes. Hair is a little bit weird, though. I don't know if it's just the glare, which I think it is. But he does have a little bit of a spot there, but that's just my copy. He does have a very nice green and blue tunic, as well as the undershirt, which you can see right there. Golden belt, and a place where you would be able to store the pistol if you could, but you can't, so whoops. He has his nice red and maroon jacket there, or I guess maroon and brown, which is fun. Unfortunately not removable, especially since the arms are cast in that same red plastic as the jacket. You could pop it off, but it wouldn't look right. He does have brown pants, which go into his boots, and he has knee pads and shin guards and stuff like that, because, minor, very fun. But his boots are very low cut and sculpted very nicely down there, so I think that's very well sculpted. That's where the good of this figure ends. He does have some pretty good articulation. He does have that dumbbell joint at the head, so you can go it's just very hard because his neck is so damn thick. It's annoying. He does have a full range of motion at the shoulder, can go all the way out and most of the way around, except the jacket kind of blocks the articulation there. But of course you can get it to go all the way around, just you can't do it overhead. He has a pretty deep elbow bend, at least for a single elbowed action figure, as well as a wrist swivel and an up and down at both hands. So, he can execute some corpos, which is very fun. Unfortunately, it's kind of hindered again by the sleeve, but it does work. It is there. Nothing at the diaphragm, however, you do have a waist proper joint, which clicks and clacks and sounds very bad. I guess that's okay, though. I don't really care. Maybe if it breaks, I'll care, but right now I don't. He does have articulation at the hips. Of course, he does have those nice dumbbell joints, which I love, and mind the angle there. He has a swivel at the upper thighs, which reveal pockets, which I didn't see before, which is great. He has a pretty okay knee bend, as well as a ankle bend and an ankle pivot, which is nice. So the articulation on this guy is great. It's just that the problem we get into, and he can look, that's going to be the thumbnail. He's just going to look super, super fruity. Hell yeah. The problem we get into is that once you get him all posed up, getting him to stand up is a fucking nightmare. I hate this shit. You cannot get him to stand for the life of you because he is so top heavy. You have to lean him over in order to get him in any kind of pose and make him go chicken footed. So his legs are spread all the way out to the side. And even then, he still falls on his face. So that's very annoying. But that's enough for the figure itself. Let's move on to the size comparison so I can show you how Casa stacks up to other figures. Freeze frame.
You said we'd be safe back here. Come on, there's 3 of us and only 1 of him. It won't matter.
Freeze frame on freeze. Unfortunately, I've had to put Cassian on a base because this fucker refuses to stand, and even now he's falling his ass over. Fun! So here is Cassian next to the golden standard of action figures himself, the Star Wars Vintage Collection Dark Times Darth Vader, who, again, I have very, very much customized. Here he is next to Din Djarin, again, who I have customized. Here he is next to a custom Mandalorian of my own creation. And here he is next to his castmate, Vel Sartha. And again, Vel is not on a base. However, he is still kind of, average size. He's a little bit shorter than Din, very much shorter than Vader, and a tad... No, if he was on the base, he'd be a tad shorter than the custom Mando as well. That's it for the size comparison. Let's get on to my final thoughts so I can tell you exactly what I think about this figure. Freeze frame.
Oh my god. It's Obi-Wan.
Freeze frame on freeze. So, as some of you might have guessed, I don't really like this figure. It is okay for all intents and purposes. It is not a bad figure. However, the most useful thing you can get out of this figure is a head swap and a nice civilian outfit for any of your dioramas. This is not the definitive version of Cassian by any means. Of course, that would be the Rogue One version. However, this is a faithful representation of how he looked in the show, and of course, it's okay. The design is great. The articulation's good. It's just that it is flawed by that design and therefore does not fucking stand. I would love to have had a holster for his pistol. And of course, since there are no other figures from the Andor line, of course, Cassian in Imperial Army disguise, which is a bad figure that I'm not getting. There is no other figures in the Andor line, and therefore no reason to really display this unless you're a super big Diego Luna or Cassian Andor fan. But overall, this figure is okay. But if you like this figure, or if you like Andor, or if you like Star Wars Vintage Collection, or Star Wars in general, make sure you share this video with your friends, share it with your Facebook groups, all that good stuff. If you enjoy the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Keeps helping me make this content, keeps helping the channel grow. That's going to be pretty much it for this time, my friends. Thank you so very much for watching, and as always, peace.
Oh!